Welcome to Gorilla Sports Off Court, a post-game live reaction show following Game 6, a loss, unfortunately, for the Denver Nuggets on the road taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. I'm your host for tonight, Liv Moods, and this is presented by Trusted American Mortgage. Trusted American salary-based mortgage consultants want to help you get into a better interest rate and lower your monthly payments. So head to trustedamerican.com to see how they can help you save some money today.
Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome in, everybody. How are we feeling? Here's the deal. I did bet on the Nuggets to win. I think I also bet Christian Brown 15 plus points. I believe he ended with 12, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe 14. I don't know. He was really stinking close, and unfortunately, I did not cash that bet. We lost this game, unfortunately, which means another Game 7 for this Denver Nuggets team in back-to-back playoffs. You really hate to see it for a lot of reasons. One, felt like this game was winnable in so many ways. Obviously, the game got close towards the end there. And okay, hold on. Let me just go ahead and this stupid idiot, he's such a loser. I'm actually gonna let him stay in here. Because he's just gonna talk to himself and you guys can flame him in the chat. He clearly has no life. Yeah, I mean, this is tough, you guys. This is tough. And at one point, it got as close as 6 points. And of course, a missed layup by Westbrook does not help that, right? When there's a comeback on the line and you see a little bit of that playoff pressure, it does affect any player, really. And you know, I'm very passionately not protective of Russell Westbrook. I mean, yes, I am, but I just find it so interesting. Yet again, here we are again, where the trolls are crawling out of their holes to talk about Russell Westbrook, and I find it funny because MPJ missed a layup, Jokic missed a layup. I mean, let's not act like Russell Westbrook was the only person out there missing his shots. Of course, when you've got a 6-point deficit and enough time on the clock to come back in this game and potentially win it, yeah, those are timely plays, timely mistakes by Russell Westbrook. And we know he's had timely turnovers in as well in terms of being costly in so many ways. So yeah, it sucks, it sucks, but there's a lot of stuff that didn't go right in this game. Defensively, they were just allowing James Harden and Kawhi Leonard to have their way. And if you allow that 1-2 punch of Kawhi and James Harden, it's really tough to win a basketball game when you allow them to just kind of do whatever they want. So really, really hard to have such soft defensive effort by the Nuggets. Felt like there was just kind of a lack of urgency defensively. And that makes it really tough to beat a Clippers team that has such incredible talent on their roster. We've got some comments here. I want to go ahead and read as many of these comments as I possibly can. Hey, Skips, your ass better come back when you lose tomorrow. That's right. You better come back. He won't, though. You already know what time it is. Another Game 7, man. And I talked on my off-court show just the other day. Am I wearing pajama pants? Yes. Am I not wearing makeup? Yes, I'm not. Sorry, guys. I was a little too stressed tonight to get myself all zhuzhed up. Is that a crime? Sue me. Hopefully you guys are okay with that. I'm wearing PJ pants and I don't have makeup on. Sorry, but there were other things going on that were much more important to me than applying makeup to my face, and that was sweating and being petrified of the Denver Nuggets and what they were going to do, and they lost. So, yeah, you guys. So if we want to start transparently, let's start transparently and say this much. In a back against the wall, do or die situation, game series on the line, who do you trust more? The Clippers or the Nuggets? I think both are exceptionally capable, but there's one I probably trust a little bit more based on the consistency we've seen from this team through March and through April. And that's the Clippers. I do trust the Clippers a little bit more in a do or die back against the wall spot. I do, unfortunately. One thing about me, you guys know this if you've been on my shows constantly, my post-game shows that we've been doing throughout this season, I am a Nuggets fan that keeps it very real. Very, very real. Tonight, the Clippers had their way offensively. They just did. And so I struggle because I think that what we saw from the Nuggets tonight is very fixable, yes, but it's also been a season-long issue, which has been defense. That's been a huge issue for this Nuggets team, where they just defensively don't have a solidified game plan enough to feel confident in what their defensive schemes are and then applying them through 4 quarters. I actually said on the off-court show today that depending on how the Nuggets came out of halftime and played in that third quarter, it would determine whether or not they won the game. And I think we saw exactly that tonight. They came out of halftime. It was tough. I think the Clippers went on an 8-0 run, practically right out of halftime. And it was in that moment I knew, I don't think this is going to work in our favor. I don't think this is going to work in favor of the Denver Nuggets here. I really don't. You get turnovers throughout the entire game. It was game 3 that we then followed up by saying the mistakes just need to be refined. Turnovers were one of those. Free throws were another. Now, I don't like to blame refs for losses. Not always. The Pistons-Knicks game 4, I did put a little bit of blame on the refs because that was appalling. However, when you've got 4 quarters to compete, right? I'm also fully aware that the Pistons in that game had 4 quarters to outcompete the Knicks and they didn't. So you really can't ever put it all on a ref, right? For one moment in a game. But there are some that are a little more costly than others, and the refs need to be held accountable for that. But Jokic was just getting hacked on all night long. I mean, refs, you got to blow the whistle. You have to. I am not saying that because I'm trying to imply or insinuate that had the refs given the Nuggets more favorable calls, they would have won this game, because we also know one of the games in this series, the Nuggets couldn't make a free throw. They got to the line 22 times and couldn't make nothing. They got to the line nearly twice as much as the Clippers did and weren't making their free throws. So, and I believe that might have been game 2 when they lost. So I don't like to blame the refs because the refs have always been bad. And like I said, you've got 4 quarters to compete where you've just got to figure it out, right? You got to find a way, push through it, figure it out. And they couldn't do that tonight. But we got to call it like what it is here. The refs, you got to stop having your eyes closed when Nikola Jokic has the ball, because it's happening, and it's happening a little too frequently for my liking. Let's get some of these comments. No one was good tonight. No one. You know what's interesting? Jamal really started hot, didn't he? I think my emotions got like slightly toyed with a little bit because I was like, uh-oh. You know, he started the game super hot. His threes were falling. He kind of got that look in his eyes. And I was like, okay, there might be trouble for the Clippers. And then just they lost their urgency. They really did just lose their urgency. Felt like they were playing pretty decent basketball in that first quarter. And then they just completely lost their urgency. And they were still fighting for it in the second quarter as well, only down by 1 at halftime. And then third quarter, I said it on the show today. I said that third quarter will be the determining factor on whether or not the Nuggets can win this game. And sure enough, you saw in the third quarter, no urgency, no defensive efforts. Just non disengaged basketball really in the third quarter, and that is what we see from time to time with this Nuggets team. You know, they give you really great moments where you ride the high a little bit, and then they give you really bad ones. Really, really bad. Oh, shout out to the Colorado Avs who just forced a game 7 versus the Dallas Stars. Shout out to our Avs. Game 7's in Denver. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Chat, just go ahead and drop a comment. Give me a 1 through 10 how you're feeling about the Nuggets winning in game 7. 10 being for sure they're winning, no doubt in my mind. 1 being I'm a little scared. I don't think that's happening at all. Give me your 1 through 10 there. Yep, turnovers and no intensity on defense. The defense was soft. I actually tweeted and said the Nuggets D got soft tonight. Pause. I'm telling you right now, when I tweeted that, it didn't even occur to me that the word defense should have been spelt out. You know, play tough D. Get on D. Didn't think about it. But the Nuggets D got soft tonight. Big pause. I really, it was not intentional. I do apologize. It was a large pause. I immediately got under the tweet. And at that point, people had already seen it. They had already dropped memes. They had already retweeted it. They had already liked it. So I was like, okay, I'm screwed. I have to just keep it up. So then I just responded and I said pause in all caps because I just knew. I knew the people were going to have their way with that tweet. I was like, wow, Liv. Just spell out the word next time. I will not make that mistake again. Just know that I will not call it D anymore on my X account. It will be strictly written out as defense from this moment moving forward. This is just the sweetest comment. Thank you so much. I actually apologized to the stream at the very top of the show because I am wearing my PJ pants and I'm not wearing makeup at the moment. So, not feeling my most confident self at the moment, but there's bigger issues in this world, and it's the fact that the Nuggets have another game 7 on the horizon. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Okay. I said 1 through 10. Give me your stress level, your confidence level in the Nuggets in game 7. 10 being you feel great about them, you think they're going to win, you're feeling confident. 1 being no. We've got a 4 here from Greg, love it. We've got a 5 from High Wisdom. We've got an 8. Okay, there's a little bit of faith in the chat here. We've got a 7. Okay. Oh, we've got a 1. Bruce does not think it's happening. No faith. No faith in the Nugs from Bruce. Bruce says absolutely not. Kevin, not feeling great. Kevin's like, lean more towards a no, an L for Denver. 5 for David. They lost game 7 at home last year. Kevin, don't remind me. Don't remind me. You know what? Really quickly, give me one quick moment here. Oh, I'm about to have my way with people on Twitter. Yes, I sure am. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have my freaking way. Sure will. Someone just tweeted at me and said, beating your chest yesterday all confident and now you're in your feelings. Who do I look like I'm in my feelings? See, here's the difference between me and these trolls that just came crawling out of their holes to tell me what Westbrook did wrong, as if I didn't watch the entire effing basketball game. Here's the difference. My favorite basketball team is not my entire effing personality. Matter of fact, my job isn't even my entire effing personality. I love what I do. We spend a lot of time together here on these post-game live streams, but I have a life outside of it, right? Like, I don't lose sleep when this team doesn't do their job. It has nothing to do with me. Did they or did they not have every opportunity to win this game? I think they did. Long before a missed layup by Russell Westbrook. 2, if you want to be particular, and a missed dunk. Those were not the only 3 problems in the whole 4 quarters of the game. So You know what I mean? Westbrook is my personality. No, he's really not. I just love calling out weird behavior. Because apparently you don't have people in your life that call out your weird behavior nearly enough. I don't make this my entire personality. I don't get paid to defend Russell Westbrook. I mean, it is cool as hell when he comes up to me post game and shakes my hand and says he sees what I say and he appreciates it. And he knows that it's tough to be a Russ supporter because the haters are so weird. Yeah, he knows you guys are weird. And you know, the weirdest part about it is none of you would say any of what you're saying in a room alone with this man. You never would. See, I say what I say with my chest, and then I stand in a post-game presser room with these athletes. What I do takes courage that most of you don't possess. If I ripped that phone away from you and I gave you, and the only way you could communicate how you feel is face to face with anyone, I think you'd soil your pants. You'd be peeing down your leg like a little scaredy cat. So let's not even do that. Let's not even go there. You know what I mean? And the reason that I talk Russ so much on Twitter, oh my gosh, I'm going to get into it now because this is good. No, this is good. This is really good. Okay. What is hilarious to me is the Russell Westbrook clip that I have pinned on my own page, which I can do, right? Because if I unpinned it, then I would look like a weak softy that doesn't stand by what she says. I do stand by what I said, bottom line. So what's funny about you saying you talk Russ so much on your Twitter? No, it's you weirdos that bring that tweet back up, that quote tweeted every time he makes a mistake and you put it back in the timeline. So then I've got to talk about it again. You bring it up. It's been pinned on my profile since the video got posted before the season started. I don't go out of my way to talk about it again and again and again until you push me against a wall and you make me talk about it again. That's why you trolls are weirdos. You come out of nowhere. You crawl out of your hole just to say something negative, and then you go back in your hole and you snicker like a little kid. It's weird. Russ missed 2 layups. Yeah, it made me want to throw up. I wasn't cool with it. He missed a dunk too. Yikes. But so did Michael Porter Jr. So did Nikola Jokic. And most of you had no tweets or responses or communication or anything the other night when Russell Westbrook outscored Kawhi Leonard. You had nothing to say. That's what's weird. That's what's weird. What's weird is that you choose to only come out of hiding when he has a bad moment. It's weird to celebrate that. In the same way, I don't like Lakers fans. I think most of you are loud and obnoxious and delusional. But I'm not celebrating LeBron James being knocked out of the playoffs. I'm celebrating the Lakers fans getting a slice of humble pie. It has nothing to do with LeBron James. I'm not celebrating him not playing basketball. I tweeted just last week that what he's doing at his age is unbelievable and must watch basketball to watch LeBron James at 40 years old doing what he does. So it's weird. It's like, it's one thing to be like, hey, Liv, here's a warning. In the playoffs, this is what you can expect. It's another to literally prey on this man's downfall. He doesn't know you exist. He doesn't care what you think. I don't talk about Russ on my Twitter because I hope he sees it. And I'm trying to get a one-up in life. I don't care. I just know he's a 17-year vet, MVP. He's made multiple All-Star appearances, and he's still playing 17 years later this game at a very high level. And for that, I think he deserves respect. Imagine that. Respect. That's it. You don't have to agree with what he does. You just have to respect what he does. That's it. That's all. My only point in all of the Russell Westbrook stuff is keep that same energy, but you never do. You never do. I didn't see anyone tweeting about Michael Porter Jr.'s 3-point game that also tweeted about Russell Westbrook's turnover or missed layup. One player's on a max contract, the other's not. So keep the same energy is my point. I'm that way in life. People around me know, and that's why my circle is very small. You keep the same energy with me, period. You don't do one thing one time and another the next. I don't roll like that. Never have, never will. That's just how it goes. Okay? So don't act like I just on a whim wake up in the morning and go, let me talk about Russ again today. No, it's the hundreds of freaking DMs and below the belt comments and insults that people hurl my way because I respect a 17-year veteran who's been an MVP in this league. Sue me. Sue me for respecting Russell Westbrook. I mean, honestly, it's just weird. It's just weird. That's literally the only thing I can say about it. It's weird. I don't get it. I'm not going to sit on this show and act like Russell Westbrook did not miss 2 layups when there was a potential comeback on the line. He did. But I also saw a lot of other stuff that he did in this game that I liked. I saw him fighting for some boards when there were guys twice his size just standing idle. Saw that. Sure did. Sure did. You know? So there's that. There's that. Yes, and that's just it. It really it isn't even it's Lakers fans. That's why I always say that. And that's when they're like, "Oh my god, we give you so much content. You just always have our name in your mouth." You're right, cuz you don't shut the F up. You never do. You are constantly running your mouth. God, does it get exhausting? Does it get exhausting to just constantly be running your mouth? What's hilarious about Lakers fans to me is they're obnoxious until they can't be anymore. Your team's done. My team might be done on Saturday too, and guess what? I likely will not be tweeting about them when they're done playing basketball. I'm going to go take a vacation, matter of fact. I'm going to go kick my feet up and sip a little martini. Yes, I will. But you still sit there waiting for the opportunity to just be heard. Do people not listen to you in your life? Do you need a therapy appointment? I don't know what's happening. But yeah, no, Clippers fans, and that's the other thing too. OKC fans, I mean, obviously, prime Russ, of course. But I always find it weird when former teams just like, it's like being obsessed with your ex-boyfriend. Like, he's not your problem anymore. Shut up. Seriously. If Russ screws up a Nuggets game, let the Nuggets fans talk about it. Why are you so obsessed with your ex-boyfriend, weirdo? He's been moved on. He's been moved on. And you're still like this about it. Golly. I mean, seriously. It's the creepy stalker ex-boyfriend. Like, pipe down, Steven. Jimmy Bob Joe, chill out. He doesn't care about you. He's not your issue anymore. Worry about that defense Luka wasn't playing and leave Westbrook alone. If he wants to miss a layup, let the Nuggets fans talk about it. Trust me, I'm not happy about it. It is what it is. But he's not your issue anymore. So shut up. Oh my God. Lordy May. Oh, congratulations to you, Roberto. My wedding vow renewals are Saturday afternoon, rooting for an 8 p.m. Avs game. Wow, congratulations. That is so awesome. Um Yeah, and that's just it. You know what I mean? Like I watch these games and it is undeniable the energy that Russell Westbrook brings. It's undeniable. It really is. And that's in so many ways Denver needs that. Denver needs a guy that the second they get on the floor just changes the energy and the momentum. And I've said this a million times. With a guy like Russ, you've got to take the good with the bad. Have to. It just is what it is. Um but yeah, the obsession with your ex, this obsessive behavior by Lakers fans with their ex-boyfriend Russell Westbrook is very strange to me. Um exceptionally strange. Like damn, he hurt you that bad? I mean, you guys were like super the way you were talking, you would have thought that Russell Westbrook was the sole reason you couldn't advance in the playoffs. Oh, I'm looking at the last 2 seasons thinking not so much. He hasn't been your problem. And yet you still are getting knocked out of the playoffs. Whoopsies. So, might want to look at the top of that hierarchy pyramid for a second and say maybe Russ wasn't entirely at fault here. There's a lot going on. Bounced in the first round in 5 games, and you're still worried about Russell Westbrook? I think you got bigger fish to fry. In the same way, Nuggets fans have some pretty big fish to fry in this offseason if we get bounced in the first round. There's some changes that need to be made. I'm worried about what's happening inside my own house. You should do the same. How about that? Right. Okay. Um yeah, and you know what? Here's the deal. I don't want to make it I don't want to keep having to drag MPJ to make my point, but the reason I bring him up is because and what's hard about it is now he's got the injury, right? He's injured. So whatever version of him we've been getting for the last couple of games is kind of in so many ways voided by the injury that he's got. However, there's been plenty of games where Michael Porter Jr. has not been injured to our knowledge and has very severely underperformed. So much so that it probably contributed to losses. The Timberwolves game is a great example of finding that one person to blame. In do or die moments, in clutch time, it was Russ. He made a big mistake. But let's also not forget that there was a 16-point lead that was blown in that game late in that game. That doesn't entirely fall on Russ. And I think the problem is, and what the problem continues to be for this Nuggets team is you, me, I. Like, it's a team sport, fellas. We just got to understand that if we lost, we all lost. We've seen moments where this Nuggets team has played exceptionally selfish basketball, and it hasn't always resulted in a win. More times than not, it's resulted in a loss. So, I don't know. That's where it gets annoying because yeah, I talked a little bit on the show today about how the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I think every sports fan has had to learn that in one way or the other with any of their teams. And the Lakers might be feeling that a little bit right now. Darvin Ham saw a lot more success in the playoffs in his first year than Mr. JJ Redick did. And I fear JJ Redick let his ego get in the way of his coaching in a must-win game, and that is a bad sign. You can't have that, really. I don't think him and LeBron are going to be gelling much longer if his ego is getting in the way of his coaching. Yeah. Can't see LeBron being on board with that for much longer. And then JJ turns around and says, this team needs to get in championship shape. Is that deflection I hear? Is that deflection? Because I feel like JJ made a few little errors in that game that we should probably be talking about. But it felt like there was some large deflection happening. Okay. Let's get to some more of these comments, you guys. Do you think we win game 7? Oh. I'm assuming you want the truth. Just kidding. Do I think we're capable? Of course. Of course, of course, of course, of course, of course, of course. Yes. But I think the Nuggets are going to have to be like running away with the game a little bit in order for me to feel confident. Like I'm talking draining threes from jump, getting big defensive stops from jump. Jamal, MPJ, AG, everybody's got to hit a 3 in the first 5 minutes of play. I'm not kidding. Like that's the energy they're going to have to bring at home. And I think we'll be able to tell very, very quickly, if that game is going to be winnable. I'm talking first 5 to 8 minutes of play. I think we'll be able to tell which direction it's headed because we know how capable this Nuggets team is. What we don't always know is what level of urgency do they have? I hate saying it out loud, but it's the truth. What level of urgency will the Nuggets have in game 7 of the playoffs? It should be a no-brainer. It should be tons of urgency. It's do or die. It is do or die. Tons and tons and tons of urgency, but we don't always know if that's what we're going to get from them. So, are they capable of winning game 7? 100%. 100%. If you look at tonight as a whole, if we want to just dive into the stat line just a little bit, I think we all kind of know what made this game so tough for Denver. One, the turnovers are just unacceptable. You had 12 turnovers in this one, but the best part is the Clippers scored 23 points off of those turnovers. Yep, that's the game. Free throws, I will say. The Nuggets, again, not blaming the officials for how this game ended, but the Nuggets did not get to the line nearly enough in this game. 9 times they did. And I saw quite a few missed fouls on Nikola Jokic just alone. So, but it is what it is. You got to the line 9 times. You missed 3 of those. That would have put you in a better spot towards the end of the game, right? Free throws, free points. They don't cost you anything. Make them. We actually shot better from the 3-point line than the Clippers in terms of percentage. And we only shot 1 fewer than them, which actually feels insane to say because it felt like it's crazy how different their threes feel emotionally than the Nuggets threes feel, because I just know how consistently how quickly the Clippers can get hot from the 3-point line and how consistently their threes can fall. And we just haven't seen that with the Nuggets this season because that hasn't been their game plan, right? That hasn't been their game plan. The Nuggets have not prioritized 3-point shooting. Coach Malone, for the majority of the season, said that. We're not going to live and die by the 3 like everybody else. It's not our game plan. Okay, fine. But I was a little worried that at some point it was going to bite them. And in the playoffs, the 3s are falling. And the Nuggets aren't playing a whole lot of perimeter defense either. So the 3s are super falling. They weren't crazy tonight. They weren't outrageous. 12 of 39 from the 3-point line for the Clippers. But you know they're going to keep taking those shots in game 7. They absolutely will. Wow, Kyle, that is so nice. See, this is where the people come very quickly. All the men that are like, too much makeup. Why do you wear makeup? Your eyelashes, whatever. I'm not wearing makeup right now. So thank you for that compliment. And you're probably one of those people that doesn't like makeup because I am barefaced. I took a shower before the game started and I was trying to calm my nerves. I also sat in the hot tub and I was calming my nerves. And I was like, should I put makeup on my face for this post game? But I was really just enjoying watching the game. Like I was like The game felt close enough, like it wasn't getting carried away, that I was like, I really feel like some crazy things could happen. So I really want to stick around and watch it. And I did not do my makeup. So thank you, Kyle, for that. That's actually very sweet. You know what? That's actually hilarious. It's so true. I would love nothing more than for this Nuggets team to make a deep playoff run. Okay. I would love it. However, if they make a deep playoff run, they'll probably keep the team the way that it is. And I'm not sure there's longevity keeping the team the way it is. Could be wrong. Maybe this was just a really off year, but we also had an off year last year, you know? So I'm just kind of looking at this and going, something's got to give. And I have a feeling some changes need to be made. But if they make a deep run, those changes are a little less likely. Although, based on tonight's game, with the level of defense that the Nuggets were playing tonight, if that's the way they continue, they're not making a deep run. Defense wins championships. Ask the Lakers. It's the truth. It does. It matters. Defense matters. And the Nuggets don't play a whole lot of it. So what's crazy is they have had great moments. CB on James Harden last game, great. You know, so that's where it's this Nuggets team's level of urgency and just that mental toughness, physical toughness, emotional toughness to just dig deep and find a way. Now, they are tough. This team is tough. They've been through a lot this year. So that's what I hold on to as we go into game 7 when people are asking, can they win game 7? Abso-freaking-lutely they can. Absolutely. Not a doubt in my mind they can win game 7. Would I have felt a whole lot more comfortable if they took care of business tonight? Yes, because I'm also thinking longevity, right? And if this Nuggets team wins on Saturday, which they're fully capable of doing, and then they go on to face OKC, who has been resting since Saturday, they will likely have around 9 days of rest. This Nuggets team's banged up. And PJ playing through a joint sprain in his shoulder. We know Nikola Jokic for the tail end of the season had some elbow things. We know Aaron Gordon, although he's okay right now, his calf has been a nagging, lingering injury for him. It just has. So Russell Westbrook just screwed up his foot. There's injuries everywhere. So I wanted this team to take care of business tonight for many reasons, but mostly because if they do advance, I want them to be giving their bodies this much rest rather than just jumping straight into another tough series against OKC. You know? Europe loves Russ. Woo! I love it. How do you not love Russ? If you don't love Russ, I just don't even. I don't know. I don't know. Liv, are you rooting for the Knicks or Celtics? You know, that's a tough one because I always love to root for a team that hasn't. I mean, the Celtics are the reigning champs. Like, it would be nice to see another team do the damn thing out east. But I predicted that it's going to be the Celtics that go all the way. So I really won't be mad either way, if that makes sense. Like, I really won't. Not at all. Okay, let's see what else. Yeah, OKC has been chilling for a minute. They are rested. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Here's the deal. Let's talk hypotheticals for a moment. If the Nuggets lose Saturday, okay? Can we all agree that we want to see the Clippers then go ahead and just keep on going? That's what I vote. Which side are you guys on? That is a question I've always wondered. Which side are you guys on? When a team eliminates your team from the playoffs, do you root for the team that knocked you out or do you root against the team that knocked you out? See, I root for the team that knocked us out. I really do, because then I feel a little bit better. Like if the Clippers go all the way, then it's like, all right. They were really that good, you know? It makes me feel a little bit better. Am I the only one? I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one, but I like to root for the team that eliminated my team. If the Nuggets get eliminated, I will be rooting for the Clippers to just do it. Get it done. Especially against OKC, you know? Because OKC, it's like the script is written for them, you know? It's like boring. I want somebody else. Everybody thinks it's going to be OKC. I want someone to just go in there and shake shit up a little bit and be like, actually, wrong. It's not going to be OKC. It depends how much I like who they are facing in the next round. That is fair. I also, huge Kawhi Leonard fan. I've always loved watching him play basketball. I love just he shows up, he plays, and he just doesn't really bother anybody. And I just really like Kawhi Leonard. I always have. I don't have anything against that man. Nothing. There's a lot of players in the league that just annoy me for no reason. Kawhi Leonard, no beef. By the way, you guys, I get annoyed all the time by everybody. So don't take it personal if you annoy me. It just is what it is. I also annoy everybody else. So whatever. But yeah, I'm a huge Kawhi Leonard fan, like huge. So I think I would have to root for the Clippers if it's not the Nuggets. Liv, what are your thoughts about what Tyrese Halliburton's father did this past Tuesday and was banned for the foreseeable future? Is the punishment fair? Honestly, I just have mad respect to the Pacers for standing on business. Like, they made an example out of him, and they really stood on business with that one. They really did. Now, I don't know the context of how that started. I really did not do any research on that situation. I really don't know enough about what led to what and how it became a thing. So it's hard for me to speak on it, but I just really respect the Pacers for standing on business. And I'll leave it at that. The refs helped the Clippers win tonight as well. You know, I do think the refs could have blown the whistle a little bit more in favor of the Nuggets, especially with Jokic. I mean, he's just getting bullied out there. He's getting pushed around, and they're not doing a thing about it. So there were moments, yes, but I just don't like to lean on that because it actually really frustrates me when the Nuggets themselves are sitting out there arguing with the refs all game. It's like you have mentally removed yourself from the game. You've checked out to go have an argument with someone that doesn't care what you think. For what? You're not going to gain anything. They're not going to change their mind. Go play defense. Like, quit fighting with them about it. They're not going to change their mind. Go play defense and shut it down. So it's tough. Because I do agree there were some calls that were missed that should not have been missed. For sure. For sure. That is a fact. But what do you do, right? I hate when this team sits and tries to argue with the refs over a missed call. Like, keep yourself in the game. Keep yourself in the game. Don't remove yourself from the game. Stay focused. Liv, what do you think people would say if Steph wins his 5th and LeBron only has 4? Here's what I've learned. LeBron stans and fans, you can't tell them nothing about that man. You could tell them that I watched LeBron James step on a puppy on purpose. He stepped on a puppy. And they'd be like, well, what'd the puppy do? You're sick. No, I just have learned that LeBron fans really, you can't, that's forever type of love. That is forever type of love. A fanboy, a LeBron fanboy, the way that they admire and defend and support and cherish and follow LeBron James, it's like nothing I've ever seen before. So I don't think they'll say anything. And I think the media loves all the LeBron narratives, you know? I mean, that there's been so much to talk about when it comes to LeBron over the course of his career that, you know, I don't know. They're just not comparable. I don't think it's going to change how people view LeBron James. I really don't. I really, really, really don't. And God, I really hope that doesn't happen because then, you know, I'm actually surprised I haven't seen more theatrics around LeBron's potential retirement. Usually about this time after a round 1 bounce, after a Cancun trip, at the beginning of May, we're usually getting a sense of whether or not LeBron is going to continue playing basketball. Haven't gotten that yet, so I'm a little concerned. Who will save us if it's not Jokic in Game 7? It's got to be Jamal. It's got to be Jamal. Honest to goodness, if Jamal doesn't have at least 30, I don't think it's happening. At least 30. Because that's how much of a game changer he is. And the team feeds off of him so much. Hell, I do. He makes those big time freaking shots, and I'm like a little kid on Christmas in my living room. I'm going bananas. So I think it's going to be Jamal. And I think you've got to get this much more from Michael Porter Jr. Just this much. I know he's injured and I know he's fighting through it, but like this much more and the Nuggets would be okay. Now, honestly, Michael Porter Jr., what worries me is should he even be playing right now? He played 24 minutes, so he was, you know, limited. Some of that probably for the sake of his injury, some of that for the sake of his performance. Is it worth continuing to play Michael Porter Jr. if, one, you're not getting a whole lot out of him and you could be utilizing somebody else in that second unit that may surprise you? Or is it worth it to keep putting stuff on his body when he's not fully healthy? You know, let's say this Nuggets team does make a deep run. They upset OKC. You want Michael Porter Jr. healthy at some point in this postseason play. So is it worth it to keep playing him if, one, you're really not getting much out of him, and two, he's not in full health right now? Not at all. You know? So you do want to see this much more from Michael Porter Jr., but I don't know if you're going to get that given his circumstance, given his injury. You know? So that's where it's hard. Okay, guys, any final thoughts before we get out of here? Because honest to goodness, honest to stinking goodness, that was tough. I'm not thrilled with them, but it is what it is, right? Like, what can we do? Sorry, I'm reading some comments. MPJ is the weakest link right now. Yeah, and he has been, to be honest with you, even before the injury. He's the one member of the starting 5 that you kind of get nervous about because you just don't know what you're going to get. So it's tough because now that there's an injury at play here, you want to be delicate with that, but at the same time, don't play him if he's that injured, you know? Like that's how I feel because if they do make a deep run, you want him to be available at some point. Don't put his body through 24 minutes and only get 5 points and potentially make the injury worse. You know what I mean? 5 points, 3 boards, 0 assists. You'd get 2 steals and a block from him. So he's making an impact, but you just want this much more. And then I think the Nuggets are in a much safer spot. Sadly, there's a lot of pressure on Michael Porter Jr. I get it, but that's what happens when you're a max contract guy. And we've seen how great you can be. He really is a difference maker. You know? So, oh gosh. All right, you guys. A lot of stuff you didn't like about that one. You know, the late game missed layups by Westbrook, the missed dunk. There was a missed layup by Michael Porter Jr. There was a missed layup by Jokic. The defensive efforts just weak. The turnovers not okay. 12 turnovers off, and you allowed the Clippers to score 23 points off of those turnovers. You know, we can talk about the uncontrollables, which is the refs not blowing the whistle. That's an uncontrollable. You can't control that, and it sucks because it could have been a difference maker. And there were some missed calls that I personally saw when I was watching this game. So that's the uncontrollables. What sucks even more is that there were a lot of controllables that slipped through the cracks, and that is why they lost this game. A lot of this was in their control. So what you hope for is a little tiny, tiny, tiny bit of rest. Meaning you get on a plane and you get home and you tuck yourself into bed immediately and you rest tomorrow a little bit. And then Saturday, it's a back against the wall, do or die situation. Who prevails? Who's it going to be? Ooh-wee. I will have a post-game show for you following Game 7 on Saturday, of course. So hopefully it's not our last one. That's what we hope for. We hope it's not the last one. We hope that this Nuggets team knows exactly how to win Game 7 and what they've got to do to win Game 7, and that's exactly what they're going to do. So that's what we're hoping and praying for. My fingers and my toes are crossed. And we'll be okay, guys. We'll be okay no matter what. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. I'm in this with you. I'm stressing about it with you. But it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. We will panic when we need to panic. For now, we just send some love and prayers to our Nuggets to get them in full health and get them some strength back in their bodies so that they can compete at the highest level on Saturday. That's what we hope for. So that is all from me tonight. Thank you guys for hanging out with me for the hour. I appreciate you so, 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 so much. And like I said, you can catch us live Saturday following the home game, Game 7 for the Denver Nuggets versus the Los Angeles Clippers. I believe that game, 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time. So you can expect the live stream to be, I mean, this one started at like 10:40? And the game started at 8. So like 2.5 hours. Yeah. So you can expect a live then after the game. Cool. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you tons. Go Nuggets. And we will catch you Saturday for some content, all centered around Game 7 Nuggets Clippers. So thank you guys for tuning in. Much love. And we will talk to you very, very soon. Bye-bye.